Hi, everyone. It's Gabriela Barrero, and I'm here with Laura Haraka, who's a pelvic pain specialist. She's located in Bloomfield, New Jersey. She's the founder of Fealty Hill Wellness. She has a smile that is contagious. She's a foodie just like me. So any other foodies out there, we stand united with Laura. And if there's one thing about Laura, it's you're going to be amazed by her story today. And already her title might have caught you. Pelvic pain specialist. Laura's going to walk us through her life of pain before she made some big changes that changed everything. Laura, thank you for being a part of our 25 Days of Small Biz Babes. For those that are just meeting you and are like, New Jersey, foodie, pelvic pain specialist, you're a mom of two gorgeous, gorgeous girls, recently divorced, rebuilding your life. Can you give us a welcome? Can you give us a little introduction? And also, I'm like, wait, did you always grow up in New Jersey? Like, where did you grow up, Laura?
So I was born in New York City and I moved out here when I was 2 years old. And to be honest, I now live still in Bloomfield, 5 houses away from my parents.
Wow. Okay, so you're a Jersey girl,
Yep, through and
born in
through.
through and through, not born and raised, but moved over and raised. And same thing that you did for your children. And when people hear the word pelvic pain specialist, tell them what you do.
So basically, I help people heal from pelvic pain by utilizing their own innate healing capabilities. And I do this by helping them reframe negative thinking and beliefs through self love, self compassion, and self worth. And I use a lot of tools to do this. I actually use the tools that I use to recover, which are somatic experiencing, mind body tools, and breath work.
Ooh. And now take us back in the time machine to when you first started feeling pain. Had you ever experienced it before in life? Can you walk us through how you got into this field, into this work?
Sure. Well, it all started one day, May 2nd, 2015. I literally did the same thing I did every day. I made lunches, took my kids to school, went for a run, came home, used the bathroom, and a few minutes later, I had to use the bathroom again. And literally at that moment, Gabby, I knew something was terribly wrong. I thought I had a UTI. And I'll tell you, I've never had one before, but I would assume that's what it felt like. So I went in the refrigerator and I'm like, I got to get a yogurt, some cranberry juice, some water. I'm like, I'll just flush this thing out. And it didn't go away. So the next day, I went to the doctor. I figured, hey, he'll just give me a test. It'll probably be a UTI. I'll get some antibiotics and I'll go back to my crazy busy life of being a cheer mom and a soccer mom. So I went to the doctor. He gave me the test and he came back in the room a few minutes later and he said, there's nothing wrong with you. And he kind of looked at me with a face like, are you sure? Like, I'm a little crazy, like, doubted me that I was coming to the doctor for pain. And I looked at him, my mouth was open. I said, the test must be wrong. He said, it's not. He said, go home. And if in a few days you still don't feel good, go see a specialist. So a few days went by. I still didn't feel good. And I made an appointment for a specialist, which actually took months. And in that time, I was miserable. I was in horrific pain. It was hard to sit. It was hard to stand. I literally couldn't even wear jeans. So that from that moment, it led me on a 4 year quest where I was searching. for relief from my pain. And I did go to that specialist appointment a few months later, and they still didn't know what was wrong with me. They had no idea. I had pain. There was no diagnosis. And he gave me some pills and said, Here, try these. But I was basically looked at by the medical community as almost a little crazy that I was making this up. So imagine just being in pain and then going to doctors and they have no clue what's wrong with you. It's really an awful feeling. So I decided to go all over the United States, literally California, Tennessee, Washington, New York State, traveling to different doctors, trying to find relief from my symptoms. And no one knew what was wrong with me. They were basically just guessing that, oh, maybe this, maybe that. They started with injections. They started giving me medications. And I just developed dependency to painkillers. So, on top of being in pain, I developed depression, anxiety, and dependency. And I was truly, really a mess at the time. And due to that, I disconnected from my family, my friends, but most importantly, my children. This pelvic pain had such a grip on me. And to be honest, I really didn't know where to turn at this point. I tried multiple holistic treatments. I tried PT. I spent thousands and thousands of dollars and nothing helped. So I was in a pretty bad way, to say the least.
Laura, walk us through what that felt like of turning and going. And I'm sure the way that you were raised, you probably were raised, the doctor knows. The doctor knows the answers. Like you go to the doctor and the doctor knows what you should be doing and what's wrong, and they'll fix you right up. How long did you think this was going to last? How were you feeling as each diagnosis came back with nothing to say but question marks? And how long did this journey take you?
So when this first started, I thought, I'll be better in a couple weeks. And then because I am very motivated, I will say, and I said, I'm going to figure this out. I was going to fight. I wasn't going to let this take over my life. So I assumed I'd be able to find the right doctor with the right diagnosis and I would get my life back. But that really didn't happen. And how would I think that not to go to a doctor, right? We were taught from the day we were born, we go to doctors when we have pain in our body. And it's interesting, Gabby, because nobody, not one doctor said to me, What's going on in your life? No one asked me about the stress. No one asked me about how I was feeling in my relationships. No one ever asked me how I was feeling even about being a mom. So that was totally eliminated from the diagnosis right away. And I was just sent from doctor to doctor. And then they were literally finding little things that they thought could be the answer to my pain. And I wound up having multiple surgeries and procedures in an attempt to correct something that wasn't even broken.
And now, as you look, and for a few of our guests, we've been doing some predictions. It's been a very, very open trend this year in 2025 of women developing autoimmune diseases. And these are discussions that we've had in the past too of how women being able to be open and honest about where they are in their lives, about what they're facing, about what their relationships look like, still isn't the norm. even with your close friends. There are things that I have gone through that I haven't even shared with my close friends just because I guess we kind of feel like, oh, well, if we share it, we can't go back, right? Like if we really tell what's going on, the amount that that opens you up in this place of vulnerability. And from your story, as you started to put the pieces of the puzzle together, what did you realize was going on in your life that you truly believe was perhaps some of the roots of why you were seeing these symptoms?
Well, it's so interesting that you say that because it's so true. Women don't open up about what they're feeling. And it's due to a lot of the limiting beliefs that we were told as a child, right? So if we cried, we might have been told, oh, be a big girl, stop being a crybaby. So now we learned crying's wrong. And then if we're angry, oh, what are people going to think about you if you show anger? So now we can't be sad and we can't be angry. And
Be a
then,
nice girl. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, be a nice girl. And it also goes another way. I remember being extra happy and excited. I'm a pretty excitable person. I
Yeah,
get
like a
excited.
positive person. And
I
yeah,
really love to get excited about things. And I was even told, oh, stop, calm down.
simmer down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool
yeah,
it. Cool it.
exactly.
You're a little too much. You're laying it on heavy.
Yeah, and I'm
Wow.
still told that today. But the difference is I don't care anymore. So I realized through a lot of research and finding some different information online through some doctors in the world of mind body medicine that when we repress these emotions, when we hold them down, it actually hurts and creates tension in our body. And when an emotion is stuck in our body, it's emotions are energy in motion, right? It's part of the word. And it sometimes gets stuck. And I find a lot of women have it stuck, and men, in their pelvis due
Mm,
to mostly repressed emotions and overwhelm and being way too stressed out, trying to now be it all because women play a different role than we did years ago. A lot of women stayed home, raised children, and we're talking years and years ago.
yeah.
And now more women or most women are working. We have dual income families, but they still have all their same responsibilities. And there's no balance, self care, and support.
That needs a long pause after that one. A very long pause because as far as we have come, I think it can really feel it can still feel a bit discouraging. It can still feel like, oh my gosh, what more can I do? Right? I remember that being one of the most brought up lines, even in my relationship. I don't know what else you want from me. I don't know what else I could possibly do. And then you hire on help and you bring on help that actually only ends up helping your significant other, really, because they're picking up what they weren't willing to do. And how a lot of women these days are feeling a little fed up, a little waiting for their knight in shining armor to come. And I know that you had mentioned, so like, what was happening in your life while these symptoms were brewing? What were
Right.
the emotions that you were repressing that were coming to the surface and coming through?
Well, first of all, I was completely overworked. I had to have one child at cheerleading in one end of town, and then I had to have the other at soccer practice 3 to 4 times a week in a town 30 minutes away. And in the meantime, I had to have dinner and take care of all of the shopping needs that the house needed, cleaning, and taking care of any emotional needs of my children. So I was completely overworked. And honestly, I love taking care of my kids. And it's something I always really did want was to be a mother. And it's still, even now, I love being a mom to my two girls and doing things for them. But I was feeling a lot of fear at the time, along with being overworked. My daughter was going to be going, to college at a certain point, and my other daughter would follow her 3 years later. So who am I? I was scared. I
Wow.
had no purpose in life. I had no idea how to even use a computer to find a job. So there was a lot of fear. And I was also surviving in a marriage that had lots of struggles. So that wasn't easy too.
And I think it's great to give space to the woman listening to this and saying, do I feel seen? Laura, I
Mm,
follow you because I do not have conversations like this, even with my mom, right? Like,
yeah.
I think women are really dying to have spaces where they can show up and share these and not feel guilty about it, not still have those same beliefs that were told to them as a child, told to the mom who's doing everything, running the candle at both ends.
And there's a
Go
limiting
do some
belief.
self-care, right? Oh, just make
Yeah.
sure you take care of yourself, honey. How? Right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, could you you want to come over and help? Like, how do you see how do you see this happening? Could we group think on this project? I know like the
Yeah.
words that something you'll get over it, you'll get through this. Yeah, but now I'm in it.
Yeah.
Anyone want to help?
I know. Yeah. And we have limiting beliefs even about asking for
Yes.
support.
Yes.
What
Yes.
does
Which is the
that
most
mean
ironic
about me?
part. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Does that make
Right?
me weak that I need to ask for help? I see it every day with my clients.
Every single day. Every single day. Even with me, with my clients as well in the business space. One of the most radical things that we can do for ourselves is receive help.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's yet still one of the hardest things to do
Yeah.
as this form of hyper independence of you're going to show someone, okay, they're not looking anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, now you're trying to show them they're not looking and they're not seeing the struggle that you're going through. And
Right.
if you could go back in time, Laura, and talk to that version of you on what day was it? What day was it for you? May.
May 2nd, 2015.
So what if you could go back to her on like April 30th, right? Before anything ever happened, April 30th, 2015. She's Laura's just walking about her day. Well, she's probably not. She's probably running and she's going running, running. What would you go back and like if you could just hold her hands over coffee and empanadas and yummy food, what would you say to that version of you?
The first thing I would say to that version is, I know you're scared.
Mm-hmm.
I know this hurts,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm here to tell you that you, through this pain, are going to learn so much about yourself. You're going to create a whole new life where finally, honey, you speak to yourself nicely with
Mm-hmm.
compassion and love,
Wow.
and you meet your needs. And I think I would say the best is yet to come.
Laura, where do you get this stuff from, Queen?
I actually could cry saying it. I really got a little emotional.
I'm like,
Um,
you're like the female Sylvester Stallone. Like, I'm ready to keep listening. But as we wrap up, for those people that are listening and they're like, Laura, how can I get in touch with you? What do you have going on? Can you talk to them? Like now that they know all these things about you, how do you typically work with your clients? And what kind of offers do you have?
Yeah, well, the first thing I want to tell you, my whole purpose right now is to share my story
Hmm.
so that my narrative hopefully inspires others to recognize that there is a mind body connection with chronic pain so they can lead a life that's, with emotional well-being and mental well-being. And so what I did was I created two things. People can work on me with me one on one, sorry, and they we can have sessions where I help them identify if this is a mind body condition, first of
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
And because once we can develop that evidence that this is a mind body condition, then we can move forward. And so I have somatic experiencing sessions with people one on one online. And then what I realized is people really do well with the support of community. We thrive in community with others. So I created something called the Pelvic Healing Circle, which is a membership. And I spent so much money, Gabby, trying to get better from chronic pain. So I wanted something that was affordable for people, that they had a sense of community and they can also learn the tools they need to get better. So during our circles, we meet 3 times a week live for an hour and a half where I actually teach. I do a mind body teaching. I also do somatic practices and we do breath work and, of course, time for question and answers. And people can feel held and supported. And real healing is happening. And it's happening faster in community.
Ooh, that incubator, right? We love when we get to watch things unfold. And for people that don't know where to follow you, tell them your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your TikTok, your website.
Sure. So my website is feeltoheal.live. And on there, you can have access to making one on one appointments, finding my story, my masterclass, and you can also join the Pelvic Healing Circle there. And then you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram, all under Feel to Heal Wellness.
And now I always love to ask people before we leave a different question. For you, my question is, Laura, what's one book that changed life for you?
Sure. So the book that changed everything for me was Unlearn Your Pain by Dr. Howard Schubner, because it describes how chronic pain happens, why it happens, and it gives information and in a workbook style how to start healing your chronic symptoms. So when I read that, it was like reading an autobiography about myself. It was like my mouth dropped again. The same way it dropped in the doctor's office, it dropped again like, oh, wow, I found my answer.
We're doing a round of applause for Laura. If you don't know Laura, you need to connect with her on LinkedIn. You need to hear her speak live. You need to see her on Instagram or TikTok, and you need to collaborate with her. Bring her on your podcast. If you're having an event, invite her on to speak in Q2, right, of 2026. Probably from April on is when you'll probably be open for some speaking opportunities. Laura,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Perfect. And also, can you tell them the name of your podcast?
Oh, yes, I forgot about that. Beyond the Pelvis, where I bring on guests who help people heal from chronic pain. And now I've been bringing on my clients or other people that have healed from pain already.
Beautiful. Laura, thank you so much for being a part of our holiday gift guide.
Thank you so much for having me, Gabby.